First of all, I wish to express my words of appreciation to the ETAF management for organizing this workshop in collaboration with all the strategic partners, including the World Bank and the University of Cape Town, and for choosing Mauritius to host this workshop. We are glad you seem to be enjoying it. I'm confident that this workshop will be as successful as the inaugural cohort held in October 2024, which brought together participants from, I understand, 30 African countries. I see this opportunity to wish a very warm welcome to all our delegates coming from 24 nations of the African continent. Dear delegates, we are indeed privileged to be your host for this week, and I wish to assure you that we will try our very best to make your stay in Mauritius a memorable one. I would also like to recommend that you take some time to visit our beautiful island and enjoy the hospitality of the Mauritian people. Many amongst you must have often heard of Mauritius being referred to as paradise on earth. Well, we invite you to experience some of paradise during your stay to the fullest possible. I know you have a busy schedule, but do visit Mauritius or whatever you can. Honorable Daneshwar Damri, I would like to express my utmost gratitude to you for accepting our invitation and gracing this function by your esteemed presence as chief guest. We thank you for being in our midst despite your very busy schedule. I know you just returned from New York, and there must be so many things to attend to, so we thank you for your ongoing support to MRA. Your presence here also bears a perfect testimony to the pivotal role of taxation in the socio-economic development of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the sound management and administration of excise taxes is of paramount importance for our country's economy and public policy. These indirect taxes play a key role worldwide, actually, to achieve diverse objectives. Firstly, revenue generation remains a key objective, especially for many African countries, as this contribution to the national budget is so vital to sustain social and national development goals. Excise duty accounts for around 14.2% of overall MRA collections, meaning that this tax is crucial for the Mauritian economy. By comparison, personal income tax, which has a larger tax base than excise duties, amounts to only 8.2% of overall MRA collections. So excise tax is almost double of what we get through personal income tax. Moreover, excise taxes also play a crucial role by regulating consumption, which in turn helps us achieve health and environment-related objectives. I was talking about this to Dr. Anne Mashab, thank you. So we will get there, hopefully in some future work sessions. Some very common products, of course, which are subjected to excise taxes include tobacco, alcohol, and sugar-sweetened products, just to mention a few. Excise taxes also aim to ensure equity and fairness, influencing behavioral incentives and regulating trade and industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Mauritius has over the years successfully administered excise duty to achieve several socio-economic and health imperatives. I'm glad the Mauritian experience seems to be drawing some form of recognition, and we are here to help our African brothers to get to wherever you should be. I heard you saying about the shortfall in excise duties, so we hope Africa can get its rightful share of excise duty taxes over the years. To comply with its obligations towards the WTO, as from the year 2008, Mauritius has progressively shifted towards excise duty, which of course, as you know, applies to imported and local products as well, as compared to levying customs duty, which generally would apply only on imported products. Historically, excise duty on alcoholic products has existed since colonial times in the case of Mauritius, and Mauritius, of course, has a long experience in administering excise duty on this type of products. We have also been administering excise duty on tobacco, motor vehicles, and petroleum products for several decades. However, with time, it has been necessary to introduce excise duty on other products. Excise duty on non-alcoholic sugar-sweetened beverages was introduced as from 1st January 2013 for health objectives to combat diabetes, which is a major public health issue in Mauritius. As you can see, everything, unfortunately, is not rosy in our paradise. Prevalence of diabetes in Mauritius remains one of the highest in the world. Serious concerns are now being raised about the rising incidence of diabetes, even among children and adolescents, which again brings me to regulation of foods, even in primary schools and colleges. To address this issue, the tax which was being applied on sugar-sweetened beverages has, as from this year, 1st October 2025, been extended to other products with sugar contents such as chocolates and ice creams as per our Finance Act 2025. I must say, my daughter was not happy when ice cream was taxed, but I had to explain to her, don't worry, you will get other things, but forget about ice cream. So we will all face similar problems, but we have to explain to our children that, yes, their health matters more than anything else. Similarly, excise duty on household electrical appliances based on energy consumption was introduced as from 1st September 2013. Today, excise duty covers other items such as herbicides and pesticides in order to promote the use of bioherbicides and biopesticides. We are also applying excise duties on outboard motors of a capacity exceeding 150 HP, which of course causes damage to our lagoons and so on. We have excise on fireworks, firecrackers, prepared or preserved fish such as caviar, and substitutes prepared from fish eggs and so on. I wish to mention that excise duty is not imposed unilaterally and indistinctly. Our legislation also caters for concessions on excisable goods imported into or manufactured in Mauritius to eligible bodies, organizations, or persons for socio-economic reasons as and when required. Ladies and gentlemen, a crucial component of this workshop is tobacco taxation policy and control. I wish to emphasize on the importance of effective and efficient tobacco control to protect government revenue, to protect trade, and public health. As we know, counterfeit cigarettes, which are really unfit for consumption, are now making their way into several markets, which represent very high risk to consumers. It is common knowledge that tobacco products are highly taxed in most countries, including Mauritius, which is why we are getting a huge share of taxation, implying high risks, of course, of tax evasion by unscrupulous traders through illicit trade. Therefore, in addition to increasing excise taxes and imposing taxes, it is crucial for each of our African brothers to implement rigorous compliance and enforcement strategies, because just increasing taxes will not get us where we need. We need to prevent the counterfeit goods from getting there. In Mauritius, a multi-agency approach is adopted for tobacco regulation, clearance, control, and enforcement. At import, the National Agricultural Products Regulatory Office has a mandate to give clearance authorization, just to make sure that the tobacco products comply with regulations. The Ministry of Health, for its part, aims at reducing import and consumption of tobacco products, and thus plays an important role around public health. The Ministry of Finance, today represented by Honorable Damri, as policymaker, regulates rates of duty to enhance revenue collection, while the MRA has a responsibility for customs control and revenue collection, including excise. To have an effective control on import of tobacco products, MRA has implemented a tax stamp program on cigarettes since 2008. This has been enhanced over the years to include QR codes, embedded stamps. This facilitates enforcement by field officers through a track and trace system. Pre-arrival checks through manifest, risk management tools, investigation and post-clearance audits, review of declarations are some of the very common means of customs control on tobacco products and general goods. Moreover, a dedicated excise audit unit is operational at our customs, with the main objective to conduct post-control audits on producers of excisable goods to assess their compliance with the provisions of the Excise Act and other related laws. During its initial phase, this unit focused on manufacturers of sugar-sweetened products. Audits were conducted, and these revealed several discrepancies, resulting in the recovery of excise duty, VAT, and other taxes amounting to more than 25 million rupees during only 15 months. The team has now shifted its focus to the audit of producers of alcoholic beverages, and around 1.3 million has already been recovered to date from 3 companies in terms of additional duties and taxes. The plan is for audits to be more regular, to be intensified, and to cater for more producers of alcoholic beverages over the next few months. It is worth mentioning that data analysis frequently reveals a consequential increase in the quantity of cigarettes cleared from customs by importers, especially prior to the presentation of our budget. Because every time there is a budget in any country, the expectation is that there will be higher taxes for alcoholic products, cigarettes, and other things. Even cars, this time we had a record purchase of cars in the 1 month prior to the new taxes coming into force. So prior to the national budget, we should expect that there will be people who will be hoarding products, and we should be ready for that. These importers aim at benefiting from windfall gains arising from any increase eventually in the excise duty rates in the budget. To mitigate the risks of tax avoidance, Mauritius has implemented anti-forestalling measures, which means that the MRA may limit the quantities of cigarettes that may enter the Mauritian territory for home consumption during a controlled period, which is generally, as I said, prior to the budget. Ladies and gentlemen, today, customs and other enforcement and regulatory authorities are facing numerous challenges concerning the control of tobacco and excisable goods. Traders and other individuals are now resorting to contraband, smuggling, counterfeit, and other means of tax avoidance. There are also new tobacco-related products and devices for tobacco consumption readily available on the market, which can be harmful to human health. Even children in schools and colleges are now getting addicted to these. These products include e-liquids, devices and accessories such as electronic nicotine delivery system and electronic non-nicotine delivery systems. We therefore need to prepare accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, as per the agenda of the workshop, the tax experts gathered here will cover several important topics relating to excise tax administration, tackling tax evasion and illicit trade, as well as the use of technologies for enforcement and control. It is our hope that this workshop will achieve its set objectives and will help develop the practical skills and expertise of customs and tax officers in tobacco and excise taxation policy and enforcement across the continent. We also look forward to concrete outcome in terms of enhanced strategies to combat illicit tobacco trade and promote better health taxation for the benefit of the African continent. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your attention, and I wish all delegates a very enriching workshop, and to our foreign delegates especially, I wish an enjoyable stay amongst us. Thank you.